Hi, it's Rob, your Member of Parliament for Delyn. This week it is UK Parliament Week, which is an annual event, takes place in early November, with the aim of engaging people from across the UK with the UK Parliament, exploring what it means to them and empowering them to get involved. As part of this, I'm going to be releasing a video each day this week explaining different aspects of Parliament and government. And today, as we're on the first one, I wanted to discuss a little bit about the origins of Parliament and the history and how it's evolved into the modern institution that we know today. So one of the oldest parts of the building, I'm currently in my parliamentary office here in Westminster, one of the oldest parts of the building is Westminster Hall, which is a huge, originally a banqueting thing. So it was originally built by William the Conqueror's son back in 1097. It was the largest hall in Europe and was built with the desire to be kind of awe-inspiring and impress anyone who walked in through the doors, as the grandioseness of the whole thing. Interestingly, the coronation banquets of Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, the trial of Guy Fawkes, and even the explosion of a bomb in 1885 have all occurred in the walls of Westminster Hall. Parliament itself, as well, has seen far more of its than its fair share of drama, not including just the regular day-to-day dramas of MPs, from almost destruction of the Great Fire, attempts to blow it up, bombs during World War II, all manner of things that have gone on over the years. But despite all of the kind of grandiose occurrences, it had fairly humble beginnings. The first English Parliament convened in 1215 with the signing of the Magna Carta, which established the rights of barons who were wealthy landowners to serve as consultants to the king on governmental matters in his great council, and it created the foundations of the institution that we've got here today. Now, at the time, it was just for England, with Wales only being brought into the English pattern of lordship through the Acts of Union in the 16th century. But as a quick fact relating to Flintshire, the first MP for our part of the world was Peter Mostyn, who was in fact a distant cousin of Henry VII. But nowadays, Parliament represents everyone in the UK. But obviously that wasn't always the case, because ordinary people only began to be represented in 1265. And voting for representatives, who were at the time called Knights of the Shire, didn't come in until 1432. And back then you were only allowed to vote if you owned property and if you paid the Crown 40 shillings a year. It's about £2,500 in today's money. Universal suffrage, which grants a vote to all citizens, was only achieved relatively recently in 1928. But thankfully, nowadays around 70% of the population of the UK are registered to vote, and we've got a far more democratic institution that focuses on representation through free and fair elections. But despite all of the tumultuous activities of the past, I always think that it's really important to remember the history and prestige of the buildings in which we stand and do our job, and the institution of which I'm a part. So I always try to keep in mind the history and significance of my role in representing the constituents of Delyn. So that's a little bit about the history of Parliament. There'll be a few more bits coming up over the coming days, with regard to different aspects about how bills work and how people can get more involved in the democratic process generally. So we look out for those over the coming days, and hopefully everyone has an enjoyable UK Parliament week. All right, take care.